The Patrick Kane sweepstakes are finally over. The former Chicago Blackhawks legend has decided to sign with the Detroit Red Wings, and we are bringing to you today the real reason. Now, this is a very early morning video. This kind of came out of nowhere. We haven't heard much from Patrick Kane over the past few days, but Elliotte Friedman had dropped a bomb. But before we get into this video, just wanted to quickly say, we notice a lot of you guys watching right now are not subscribed to the channel, so if you're looking for a spot to get all your news around the NHL, you're in the right spot. Make sure to stay a while, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of the breaking news, just like this at any time of the day. But like I said, we are bringing to you today the real reason that Patrick Kane has signed with the Red Wings. Now, like I said, this is not really anything that was in mind today, or not really anything at all. We haven't heard much from Patrick Kane, over the past few weeks, really, but kind of came out of nowhere. A very, very good deal with the Detroit Red Wings. Now, we don't know the price or anything yet, but Elliotte Friedman had dropped this bomb this morning. Let's go even further. Patrick Kane is signing with the Detroit Red Wings. He said before this that there's a possibility that today that he does sign with the Red Wings, and it was only about 10 minutes, so I don't even know why that first tweet was even there. But we don't know right now, like I said, what the cap will be for, or what the price of Patrick Kane will be. But we do know that the Detroit Red Wings currently only have 6.7, so it will be below that. It might be close, but it'll be around that range. So Noah, tell me right now, what do you think about this? This is a very kind of out of nowhere, so I guess we don't really have too many words.
Yeah.
But what do you think about this signing? I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm on board with you with that one as well. I mean, we kind of knew the Red Wings were in this weird spot where they were like, they have this great big prospect pool, but they're also, it seems like they're all in. The signings that they made this offseason, kind of veteran guys trying to establish the winning culture in Detroit. And this helps them so much, bringing in Patrick Kane. Obviously, he's not the same player he once was. I mean, he's not going to be the 100-point guy, the 50-goal scorer. Obviously, he's 35 coming off a hip surgery. But, I mean, this just makes them that much better. I mean, obviously, the Atlantic Division is a very, very competitive division. And you insert Patrick Kane in a very, very, very good Detroit team. Detroit's going to be very scary.
No, I completely agree. Now, the reason in my mind that they did this, apart from, like you said, being in the Atlantic, it being very, very competitive, probably with their other number one team for Patrick Kane in that division, but I really do think he wanted to play with Alex Debrincat again. That was the talk all summer about where he might go, what will happen to Alex Debrincat, where he would end up, and then Patrick Kane would sign after that because he was waiting due to the injury. But we know how much he enjoyed playing with Alex Debrincat in Chicago, and that is something that I think he really missed in his time with the Rangers. The Rangers were a very stacked team, but he didn't have that link with really one person. Obviously, he had Panarin, who he played with before.
He didn't really fit.
Yeah, he didn't seem comfortable there. He didn't seem like he was in the centerpiece of that team. He kind of just felt on the outside of it. Yeah. But playing with Alex Debrincat again, I think he will be absolutely striving with this team. Obviously, we don't really know how he's going to play with this hip injury coming off of it. But, playing with a coach that's coached a lot of college, a lot of NCAA hockey, he knows the American game, which Patrick Kane is very accustomed to. And I do think that, this will be a very good idea for Patrick Kane, for the Red Wings. And I think that other team might be the Buffalo Sabres. They're kind of just one team that I assumed being in the Atlantic.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, what do you think about, just the Red Wings as a whole? I know that you had a tweet earlier that you saw about him liking coaching as well, but what do you think about that?
Yeah. Well, I think Derek Lalonde was also a big factor. Like you said, he's got a lot of NCAA experience, coached a couple times with the States, I think, in under 19. He might have coached the World Championship for the States, I think, this summer or last summer. So he knows the American game, like you said, and obviously that's Patrick Kane. I mean, he's probably arguably the best American hockey player of all time.
He is.
Mike Manano might say something. But, and I think Derek Lalonde is a really underrated coach in the league. I think, what he's done in Detroit in his short time is he's turned them complete 180. And I think bringing a guy with Patrick Kane who has that U.S. sort of background, same with Lalonde, I think is a recipe for success.
No, I completely agree. Now, this Red Wings team is a very big mix of, American players and Swedish players. I'll put up the lines here, and we can assume one name he'll probably be on the line with, and that's Alex Debrincat for sure. I really do think that will be the pairing, whether it be on the first or the second. I really, really like the idea of an Alex Debrincat, Dylan Larkin, and Patrick Kane line. But, I haven't watched too much Red Wings this season, so I don't know if the Joe Veleno, Dylan Larkin, and Lucas Raymond line is performing too good to be able to change it. If someone could let me know in the comments, that'd be fantastic. But I think the main name that he will be playing with is Alex Debrincat. That's for sure. And I guess they can really pair who they want with it. But these lines are looking gross. I don't know what you think about it, Noah, but, even like the fourth line, including costing Christian Fischer and Daniel Sprong, that's a very good fourth line. Same as David Perron, the Minnesota Wild killer, Andrew Kopp, and Robbie Fabry. Like, this lineup is very deep, and adding Patrick Kane to it only improves it.
There's one word that describes this lineup, and it's depth.
No, absolutely.
Plain and simple.
Yeah, coming off a Detroit team who was kind of in the middle of nowhere, in the past few years, and finally starting to bring these prospects up, starting to draft a lot of solid players like Mo Seider, Lucas Raymond. This team has quickly turned it around to become a powerhouse, quite frankly. They have goaltending depth in Sebastian Cossa. I'm very excited to see him finally, become an NHL regular. The defense is looking good. We know they love their Swedes. That's one big thing about this team. And, they're over the next few years, they're going to continue to be good. They're going to be borderline playoff teams, but they're also going to have some good picks. They draft very well. They can build a lineup very well, and they have good development. That's the main thing. And, I'd say in a few years to come, depending on how long this Patrick Kane deal, how much it is, we don't know any of that yet. But like I said, I'll pull up the cap space again here. What's highlighted is what they currently have, so it will be below that. But, it depends on the whole length of it. But I think this Detroit Red Wings team could make a playoff push in the coming years.
I think so too, 100%.
I really do think this Patrick Kane deal might only be 1 or 2 years, but I don't know for certain.
Detroit's in this really weird spot, though, man. Like, they have all these good veterans, these grizzled veterans that have been 10 plus years in the league, and they're succeeding. Like, look at David Perron, Lucas Raymond. He's not really a rookie, or not really a veteran, but I mean, he's played a few years.
He's been there long enough too.
Yeah, JT Compher, who's just won a cup with Colorado last year in 2022. They have this weird group. I don't know the best way to explain it, but they have all these young guys that are on the border. They just drafted Axel Sandin Palika. They have Nate Danielson. They just drafted. You mentioned Sebastian Cossa. They have this, if not they have a top 5 prospect pool, and they're still going to contend for a playoff spot this year. I think that is great GM. Steve Yzerman knows what he's doing. I mean, we all know that, but I think it just goes to show how good of a GM Steve Yzerman really is.
Yeah, no, I think the way you're trying to, I recognize this as well. Many teams are kind of in this situation as well. One team is kind of the Chicago Blackhawks. They have a lot of veterans and a lot of rookies, and they have nobody really in that middle. They do have a few people, but they have not, a lot of people in that, 27 to 30 range. It's a lot of older and younger guys. One difference is, though, the Blackhawks are in a different situation. They're in the beginning of their rebuild, when the Red Wings, I guess you could say, are at the end of their rebuild. I wouldn't even call it so much a rebuild, rather than kind of just finishing up their plan and going on to the next chapter. But Patrick Kane signing, I think, is the most positive thing that this team could have done at this point where they are now. Yeah. It brings in someone who will be able to play, will be able to compete with the other guys, along with one of his favorite line mates of all time. And, adding to that veteran leadership group that they have for the rookies, I think this will be an absolutely insane signing. And when the time comes, it will have paid off.
Yeah.
So, that's all we can bring you this video. We don't know too much about the details of this contract yet, so keep an eye out for those. But that's all we got for this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you did enjoy. Obviously, there's not too much Chicago involvement here, but it definitely has a big Chicago background. So, kind of involved Chicago now, but it's got a part, I guess you could say. So make sure to subscribe. Like the video as well if you haven't already, but that's all we got. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.